if Mr. Lester doesn't want to talk to me, I don't know what to do other than just.
What did you just say? What did you just say? A family member did what?
Mr. Lester, please sit down and be quiet.
A family member called in and say you may have some mental health issues, which may mean we need to evaluate you.
Let me say something, please. Can I say something?
All right, both of you stop talking right now.
Okay, that's fine. I'm willing to listen, but this is getting ridiculous.
Mr. Lester, I said stop talking, continuing to talk. If you continue to Mr. Glazier, stop talking. Answer my questions. I'm just going to set this for another.
Yes, bro. I don't know how many times I got to say it. Let me talk to Mr. Glazier, please.
Okay, thank you. That's the first time you've said that. So I will set up a breakout session for you with Mr. Glazier.
Today we have a case featuring an African-American defendant who is convinced that the justice system is conspiring against him, working in tandem with his court-appointed lawyer in order to quote-unquote railroad him. But there is a lot going on with this case, as the man's lawyer has indicated there might be a possibility that the defendant is suffering from a mental condition, adding a layer of complexity to the already tumultuous proceedings. There is so much tension between the lawyer and the defendant that the judge has to intervene several times, shouting over both of them to be quiet, so he can get back control over the court. Will someone be held in contempt? Will the true nature of the case surface, or will the tensions prevail, leaving us hanging on the edge? You will have to stay tuned to find out, and make sure to watch until the end because you will not be disappointed.
Versus Donald Raymond Lamont Lester. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Mr. Bayoneto.
Alex Bayoneto for the people.
You are muted, Mr. Glazier.
John Glazier on behalf of Mr. Lester.
Mr. Glazier, where do we stand with Mr. Lester's case today?
Your Honor, at this point, I can't talk to Mr. Lester. He, when we try to talk, he just starts screaming and yelling at me and won't listen to anything I've got to say. There's been a plea bargain offered to him, but I can't even get a chance to get it into him. I'm looking back at my notes, and Mr. Murphy apparently had the same problem with him on September 21st. He said he was going to represent himself, and he ended up waiving it. And Mr. Murphy has notes that all he did is scream and yell at him, and he didn't like being trashed on the record by his client. If Mr. Lester doesn't want to listen to me, and I can't even get him to listen at all, Your Honor, all he wants to do is scream and yell. I told him I'd set it for trial. He didn't want to set it for trial. What he really wants to do is vent. Now, there are some notes that he may have some mental health issues, according to a family member. But if Mr. Lester doesn't want to talk to me, I don't know what to do other than just.
What did you just say? What did you just say? A family member did what?
Mr. Lester, please sit down and be quiet.
A family member called in and say you may have some mental health issues, which may mean we need to evaluate you.
My family member couldn't have. There's nobody up here with me but me.
Phone call.
There's no one here but me. And if you have a name, please let me have it with a phone number, because I've been trying to call my family for the past 3 months, sir. And on top of that, Mr. Salvatore, understand something, Mr. Osaver? Let me say something, please. Can I say something?
All right, both of you stop talking right now.
Okay, that's fine. I'm willing to listen, but this is getting ridiculous.
Mr. Lester, I said stop talking, continuing to talk. If you continue to Mr. Glazier, stop talking. That is not a difficult instruction.
Wow.
And I am not going to lose control of this proceeding.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. Lester, I've muted your device. I instructed you to not talk 2 times, and you continue to talk. I can't hear what you're saying. You're on mute. Mr. Bayoneto, is there a plea offer in this case?
There is, Your Honor. Mr. Sneed extended a plea offer to Mr. Glazier of a plea to attempted possession of methamphetamine and the 2.
All right, Mr. Bayoneto, I'm going to interrupt you for a moment. Mr. Lester, you unmuted your device. I am muting it again. If you unmute it, I'm going to hold you in contempt. I'm sorry, Mr. Bandetto, what is the plea offer?
That's okay, Your Honor. The plea offer is attempted possession of methamphetamine and then the 2 RNOs as charged. I believe Mr. Sneed would also be dismissing the habitual offender notices as well. No, no habitual offender notices, and with an agreement to no MDOC time.
All right, so Mr. Glazier, are you asking to have Mr. Lester reviewed for competency and or criminal responsibility at this point?
I guess I'd still like to a chance to talk to him when, Your Honor, if we do that, it's going to take at least.
All right, I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Glazier, but I'm just trying to keep a record of what's happening. I thought Mr. Lester had left the room, but he's not. He's still here. So I'm sorry. Continue.
Those evaluations will take at least 90 days to 120 days. The prosecutor further indicated on this that we could address bond, which I have set for this afternoon, but the prosecutor had indicated he'd have no objection to a PR bond if we get this matter settled. I need to speak with Mr. Lester, but see if he can calmly talk about this plea bargain with me.
Is there an officer that's there with Mr. Lester that can unmute that device at the jail, please? Mr. Lester is apparently talking to someone. I cannot see who that is that he's talking to. Is there an officer at the jail with Mr. Lester?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
All right. Thank you for unmuting that device. Mr. Lester, did you hear the plea offer that's been made by the prosecutor?
I don't even understand what that means. What are you talking about as far as that goes? Is he
I'm asking.
Can I finish?
I'm asking you whether you heard it or not.
Did I what?
Did you hear the plea offer made by the prosecutor?
Kinda. All I know is something about a no habitual attempted.
All right.
That and the third. I don't understand what that means as far as that goes. What is he offering? No jail time, probation?
Do you want to talk to Mr. Glazier to get an understanding? He can explain.
I'm trying to. I haven't talked to this man in 30 days. 30 days, Your Honor.
Mr. Glazier just said he would like to talk to you to explain that offer to you, but you need to be able to sit and listen to what he says. Do you want to do that?
Being railroaded. What am I supposed to do? Yeah, I'm willing to.
You're not being railroaded. I'm asking you whether you want.
Can I talk to Mr. Glazier?
All right, Mr. Lester, if you're not going to participate and answer my questions, I'm just going to set this for another.
Yes, bro. I don't know how many times do I got to say it. Let me talk to Mr. Glazier, please.
Okay, thank you. That's the first time you've said that. So I will set up a breakout session for you with Mr. Glazier right now so that he can explain the plea offer to you.
30, man.
We have Mr. Glazier and Mr. Lester back from the breakout session. Mr. Glazier, where do we stand with Mr. Lester's case at the moment?
I don't want him to no longer represent me, sir. Can we get somebody else, please? He's trying to, and he belittled me and wrote notes, him and Mr. Murphy. I would like to get somebody else, please.
Mr. Lester, I only have the ability to appoint the public defender's office. So
okay, but not out of their office.
Mr. Lester, stop interrupting me. I'm trying to explain to you that I only have the ability to appoint the public defender's office. I've done that. We've been through 2 attorneys now that you have not liked. You don't have the ability to pick your public defender. One has been assigned to you. If the public defender's office chooses to make a reassignment, that's their business, but I cannot make them do that.
Okay, that's fine, but I still don't want him to no longer represent me, Mr. Osaber. I want you to see what's going on for yourself before I make any decisions. That way you see it for yourself, Your Honor. I'm not trying to sit up here and go back and forth with Mr. Glacier because there's certain things that I've asked him to do that he won't do. One being that there's prior footage camera that he won't even subpoena for one. And then on top of that, it started on August 2nd, but I was arrested August 4th. So they harassed me for 3 days. He also was supposed to get the transcripts that he does not have that I had to send off for myself. He hasn't came down here to talk to me. Every time that he says he does, this wind up happening. This is why I'm upset, Your Honor. It's because I'm not being able to talk to anyone. I don't talk to my sister because he just told me the fact that he talked to her that I have mental health issues. I have not talked to my sister since 2015 when my mother passed away because she put me in jail behind some BS in the first place. I had to hitchhike back home to Akron, Ohio, just to go to her funeral. So we don't talk. And Mr. Glacier continues to sit up there and belittle me and slander my name to you, him and Mr. Murphy taking notes when they know what they're doing. That's a conflict of interest. That means they're talking behind my back. There's no way this is going to work between me and him. He's sitting there.
Mr. Lester, I'm just going to interrupt you because I want to correct one point.
Okay.
Mr. Glacier has not said anything to me that has not occurred on the record about you or about your case. And so to the extent that you just said that Mr. Glacier is somehow communicating with me about you and
I said Mr. Murphy,
that is
sir.
incorrect. That is false, sir.
I said Mr. Murphy, not Mr. You. I never said
the same goes for Mr. Murphy. All
yes,
right?
he did.
Neither
He
of
just
them
sat there and told you that.
Mr. Lester, do not interrupt me.
Wow. Lying on me, man. That's
my obligation. My obligation in these hearings is to create a record that can be. Do not unmute that microphone, Mr. Lester. Can you hear me? Shake your head yes if you can hear me. I need to make a record of these proceedings. That cannot be done when you are talking over me when I'm trying to explain something to you. It is disruptive to these proceedings and makes it impossible to create a record. And all this is doing is dragging things out and making it take longer. So I'm going to unmute your device once again, and I do not want you to interrupt me when I'm talking. And I want you to answer my questions directly when I ask them. Do you understand that? All right, go ahead and unmute the device. If you need help, you can ask the officer that's with you to unmute that device.
You guys, I don't trust none of y'all. I swear to God.
All right, Mr.
I don't trust none of y'all.
Mr. Lester.
I'm tired of this shit.
All right, at this point, I don't think Mr. Lester is in a position to be able to continue this hearing. So I'm going to adjourn this hearing to next week, November 8th at 8:15.
Man, I don't want him as an attorney. I'm sorry.
All right, if we can address who represents you next.
I don't
week.
want him as an attorney, man. Y'all railroading me, man. This is exactly why the blacks don't trust the justice system. Exactly why. That man harassed me for 3 days and then fucked my period up, and I'm being accused of doing something. This is crazy. This is crazy. I just wanted my fucking phone number. I want to talk to my fucking daughter. This is bullshit.
You call and ask for.
Crazy, man. I can't take this shit. I'm so sick of them doing me like this. Fucking lying on me and shit.
All comments, viewpoints, interpretations, and insights expressed in this video are for education and entertainment purposes. All individuals featured in the video are to be presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Please do not attempt to contact, locate, or engage with any individuals featured in the video.